From analog.
Hi, Jim. You have a great signal up here. You're 5.9 plus.
You're digital.
We are everywhere you want to be. This is the CQ Blind Hams Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this CQ Blind Hams Techzoom meeting for June 2024. If you go to www.blindhams.com, you can learn all about the Blind Hams bridge and all the other wonderful resources that we link to, including the link to this very Zoom meeting whenever we have these podcast meetings. It's very easy to find right there on the front of blindhams.com. So, and we get together and just to talk about amateur radio related things from a blindness perspective. And doesn't mean that it could only be beneficial to blind people, but it is from our perspective. And sometimes our perspective can be helpful to people who are not blind. So something to keep in mind. So let's go ahead and introduce the crew here and get the discussions going. Joel, W0CAS, what's going on with you?
Well, not a whole lot, Julian. Just looking at these questions and looking forward to hearing everybody's answer. What we're going to, I wanted to let everybody know that we've been doing this for 2 years, and it's kind of getting harder and harder to find speakers and topics. So we're not going to dedicate this Techzoom every month. We'll do it every time we get subject come up or a speaker that comes up that we can do a Techzoom for, but we're not going to try to do it every single month from now on. We might end up doing them every month, but right now there's nothing in the works to do any more for the next month or so. But what we're going to probably do tonight is take about half of the questions. We got 11 questions. And since we got a few attendants tonight, we're going to do half of them tonight, say about 5. And maybe do the rest of them next month. So we'll at least maybe have another one next month. Then after that, we'll see. We'll have them as they come. So back to you, Julian.
All righty. Yeah, that makes sense. And anybody listening after the fact, if you would like to see us continue to do these things more frequently, we certainly are open to suggestions for topics, speakers, ideas, and such. The more of them we get, the more we will have them. But barring that, we don't have ideas or anything for a certain month. I guess we just will not have a set meeting for that month. But hopefully we'll find ways to continue because I think it's kind of cool to do. So Robert, NC5R, what's up in Texas?
Oh, Texas has been quite interesting this spring and early summer with lots of storms every day, and I keep having to unplug my HF equipment and throw the coax out in the middle of the floor, and so much lightning, but it's dry right now, so let's hope it stays that way for a little while. Looking forward to the questions and hearing what people have to say, and thanks for having me. Back to you, Julian.
All righty, thank you. Steve, WB2KTV, what's up in New York?
Good evening, Julian. I'm getting over a cold, so hopefully I won't punctuate my speakage with coughing. Or at least I'll try not to. Otherwise, things up here are good. And if I may, I just want to remind people that while we are not going to be doing the regular Techzoom as we have in the past 2 years, Blind Hams News is still available, and you can reach Steve Bauer, W0QA, at either, 662 Ham News. That's telephone 662-426-6397. He's always interested in story ideas, and he's also got an email address, blindhamnews@gmail.com. And while that is a subsidiary of our Blind Hams Techzoom, that one will come out also as needed. Otherwise, looking forward to hearing other people's answers to the list of questions we have. And that's about it from New York.
All right, sounds good. And sorry to hear that you have a dreaded summer cold. Those are the worst, in my opinion. And in the background here, we have Angelo pushing the buttons, making sure everybody sounds good. Let's see if he's near a microphone and wants to say something.
Yeah, just wish everybody a good evening. Glad to hear you all in there. Thanks for doing this, Julian.
All right. Thanks for doing what you do in the background to keep it sounding good. And since Steve gave the announcement about blind ham news, I assume that Steve W0QA is not with us, so we will move right along. To me, Julian, N1CA, live in Southern California. And the weather here is just your normal Southern California run-of-the-mill June weather. Late night and early morning, low clouds and fog, burns off, and we get temperatures anywhere from mid 70s to mid 80s, maybe even a little hotter the further inland you go. So all's normal and good weather-wise here. I haven't been around as much and wasn't even here last month because I've been in the process of getting ready for a move. No, not to Florida like I've been talking about doing. That's been put on the shelf for a while. It's just another local move, but to a better area, 7 miles west of me. And it's a move that allows me access to some outdoor space. So look out. I may be playing with antennas this summer. So we'll see how that works out. If the landlord would be nice enough to let me play with that kind of thing. But even if it's not permanent installations, I can do temporary installations because I got a lot of good usable outdoor space now that I have access to, and it won't be in anybody's way. So really looking forward to that. And also looking forward to answering these questions. They're very neat questions. So I'm going to say this real quick, that we should continue to spread the word about blindhams.com, especially our YouTube channel. We are having a little trouble hitting the numbers there to make us eligible to receive monetization from Google. They set the bar kind of high on that stuff, and unfortunately our content is something that I guess is just not widely interesting to the masses. But as I said before, I think what we put up here can be just as helpful to sighted people and blind alike. So I say keep spreading the word, keep sharing our YouTube channel links and things like that. And hopefully at some point we can get those numbers up and we can start monetizing, because this will allow us to get some money to buy radios, accessible radios, to put in the hands of blind hams. So, Joel, do you happen to have any stats and things like that? I didn't see any in the emails. Anything you want to report there?
They've been running about the same. We have about 195 hours, 198 hours per month. And if you multiply it times 12 months, even if it's 200, it's going to be 2,400 hours within a 365-day period. So we're going to fall short of the 3,000. So if we get the subscribers up and start, getting some more views in, one day we may hit that 3,000 view hours. We need to maintain one video per month, and with the Blind Ham News is going to be once per month, and then if we have any tutorials, demos, reviews, that'll help out. Then we'll do as many Techzooms as we can. So we'll meet that criteria. And we have the 500 subscribers. We got almost 700 subscribers now, so we're doing good on subscriber count. Speaking of the radios for new blind hams, we have just been donated 3 radios by Ray. N5ZSO has sent me. I haven't got them in the mail yet, but he told me on the phone today 2 of them are MD380s, which are the ones that are the UHF version only. Takes the tie tools, so I got to figure out how to take his code plug out and put a standard code plug in. And then he sent a GD77S. So we got 3 radios that, if anybody just knows CW would like a UV3, not a UV380, but an MD380. Steve, you have one, I believe, don't you?
I do have one.
I might need some help trying to figure out how to update code plug on these radios. So, and then we got the GD77S. So as soon as we get a new blind ham in, We might not be able to buy them a new radio, but at least we'll have a GD77S, and I have two other GD77Ss. And all we're going to probably require is maybe they handle the shipping, because I had to pay the shipping from Ray to me for those three radios. So if anyone wants UHF 380 that has tie tools, I believe, already installed, I'll send him one, just for the shipping. And like I said, I got a GD77S for the same thing.
All right, sounds good.
All right, back to you, Julian.
Yeah, it's okay. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the radio that gives you all the prompts in CW as opposed to voice, the MD380.
That's correct.
Okay, so if you're good with your CW, that's a good radio to have. That's for sure. So I guess they would contact you, Joel, if they have an interest.
Yeah, my email is on the front page of the website.
Alrighty, sounds good. Station coming in there, please stand by a second. We will get to the open part here momentarily. So, okay. I think that's it for that stuff. So we'll go into right into our discussion. So Joel, don't go far away because you're going to be the first one up to go through the questions. These are questions. Huh?
Gee, thanks. That's okay.
Well, I figure we'll start with our crew first and go through them that way, or maybe do like alternate, maybe one of us and then somebody who's standing by here. Maybe that might be more fair. So we'll go that route. And since you're first on my list of crew that I call, that's why I threw it right at you. Well, yeah, these questions, I guess you guys put them together. I wasn't here for that meeting. So, just real general, getting to know you, ham radio type questions. So, in the interest of brevity, try to keep the answers brief. Don't give an autobiographical long answer here. Just if it's a simple yes and no question, that's best answered that way. If you need to throw in an explanation about something, again, just try to keep it brief so we can try to get to everybody here. And that would be cool. So there's a list of 11 questions, but I think what we've decided is we're going to go through about 5 of them for this meeting and then save the rest for a future meeting, whether it be next month or the month after, whatever we decide with that. So without further ado, Joel, come back to the mic and I will ask you the questions here. So the first question is, should CW be a requirement to have an amateur radio license?
I say no.
All righty. Is FT8 good or bad for the hobby?
It's good for the hobby, and I'll give you a quick explanation.
Go ahead.
According to the ARRL, FT8 was recorded having more contacts last year than any other mode put together. CW, sideband, any other digital mode, FT8 was the largest. So what that means is we had a lot of people on the airways.
Yep. And it's very efficient, that's for sure. So the third question is, do you think it's too easy to get a tech license these days?
Yes, it probably is a little too easy.
All righty. And here's a good one. If you were chairman of the FCC, what's one rule you would make?
I would make it free renewal of license. Every 10 years, I just maybe log in and say you're still alive. I would charge the $35 for vanity call signs and for maybe the first license.
All righty. And last but not least, when you're on about being more mobile and portable, do you say that when you key up your mic and identify yourself?
No, it's not a requirement.
All righty. Okay, so thanks, Joel. Appreciate those answers. Now, would anybody in the audience here like to speak up and answer the questions? So the first one is, should CW be a requirement to get a ham radio license?
I think so.
All righty.
It's just my personal
opinion. Yeah. I mean, all these questions, it's understood. It's whoever's answering it. It's your personal opinion. So it's not that you're speaking up for anybody or any group or anything like that. So the next question is, do you think FT8, the mode FT8, is that good for the hobby?
I think so. It seems to be. I'm not a big user of it, but I see no reason why it should be fine.
All righty. Do you think it's too easy to get a tech license these days?
I do think so. It's almost like these tech licenses are almost like CBs or something. I mean, I think people don't know what they're doing. So I've seen.
Right. And if you were chairman of the FCC, what's one rule you would make?
Net neutrality.
Net neutrality. Okay. I think they actually did bring back some of that recently.
Yeah, I don't exactly know what the status of it is. So.
And last but not least, do you say that you're mobile/portable when you're out and about using your radio?
No, generally not. I think
You don't. Okay.
I think you used to have to, but
yeah. Well, a lot of people seem to like to, so I think it's a personal preference thing. All right. Next on the list would be Robert, NC5R. Want to take a crack at these?
I'll give it a shot. Go ahead.
Okay. Should CW be a requirement?
No.
Is FT8 good or bad for the hobby?
I think it's good for the hobby. Ham radio is all about diversity, and it's just another option people have.
Do you think it's too easy to get a tech license?
Well, we have a lot of people in our area who are getting tech license for various reasons, and I think it's a good thing. I'd like to see the hobby continue to be vibrant, and I don't know that studying for a license does a whole lot to change much about a person's character. So I think the tech license is okay.
All right. And if you were chairman of the FCC, what rule would you make?
There will be no reduction in the allocated frequencies for amateur radio.
Ooh, good one. And do you say you're portable/mobile when you're out and about using your radio?
Yes, I usually do.
All righty. Well, thanks for that. Good stuff. Okay. Who's the next brave soul that wants to step up and take a stab at these?
How about Mark?
Mark.
Yes.
All right. Let the lightning strike.
Yeah, it shows that on my Ryan Hall t-shirt.
All right. Hey, good stuff. So, do you think CW should be a requirement?
No, because it varies with people, in their ability to do CW. So I don't think it should be a requirement.
Do you think FT8 is good or bad for the hobby?
I think it's good. Keeps our frequencies open and usable, and it's another form of operations, and it's a good thing.
Do you think it's too easy to get a tech license these days?
I think it could be a little bit. It is a little bit easy, yes.
If you were chairman of the FCC, what's one rule you'd make?
Boy, that's a tough one. If I were chairman of the FCC, I think I would keep the licenses free for getting a ham ticket. Maybe pay for the first one and then after that, free.
And last but not least, do you say you're mobile or portable when you're out and about, even though it's not required?
I do say that I am mobile if I'm out and about in a car, and if I'm walking, I'm portable. That way, I don't know. People just know that's the way I've always done it.
All righty. Sounds good. Thanks for stepping up and answering. So I think next on my list would be Steve, WB2KTV.
Well, let's see. Would I? Well, okay. You read them. I'll answer.
Should CW be a requirement?
Yes, absolutely.
Is FT8 good or bad for the hobby?
I'm kind of neutral. I'm leaning more toward bad because there's no people involved. It's just machines talking to machines.
Okay. Do you think it's too easy to get a tech license?
It is not hard, but I wish that there was the code requirement.
If you were chairman of the FCC, what rule would you make?
I'd say all homeowners associations must allow amateurs to put up antennas. Remember, we're an
Ooh.
emergency service, and how can you have emergency operations without an antenna?
All right. And do you say you're portable / mobile when you're on about, even though it's not required?
I do, only because I've been doing it ever since I've been licensed, which is over 50 years, and old habits die hard.
Definitely. All right. Well, thanks for stepping up and answering. All right. Who's the next brave soul in the audience?
K1B City.
Margaret. Okay. So, should CW be a requirement?
No. I actually am teaching a class in CW, and one of the hams is a retired teacher of science and math, high school, and he had difficulty learning CW, and he's doing a good job at it now, but it's taken him a long time. So he would have never had a license.
All right. Do you think it's too easy to get a tech license?
I do not, because we're getting folks started, and once we bring them into the local clubs, then we bring them along. At least my club does.
If you were chairman of the FCC, what's one rule you'd make?
Give us our 220, the bottom of the 220 band back.
Ooh. And do you say you're mobile or portable when you're out and about, even though it's not required?
Only if I'm on HF.
All
Because then I
right.
go to the top of the pile.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Margaret. And I think that leaves me. So let me go ahead and I'll answer these as well. I don't think that CW should be a requirement. I remember when it was being discussed as far as removing it, my thought was that you should only have to prove proficiency in CW if you wanted to use the CW portions of the band. So to me, that would have been the compromise. But honestly, I don't think it should be a requirement. I remember it was one of the things that when I first learned about ham radio as a kid, kept me away from doing it. I think I would have been a ham sooner, but I just didn't think that I could learn CW. So I didn't pursue it till later on in life. And I'm glad that nobody has to be bothered with that anymore, but yet people can still use it if they love the mode. As far as FT8 is concerned, I think it's fine for the hobby. It's not my cup of tea. But at the end of the day, we're an emergency service, as Steve pointed out. And I think part of emergency communications is quick and efficient exchanges of information. And sometimes I think that automated ways of doing that could be helpful, not hurtful. So yes, I think it's okay for the hobby. It's a good thing. I don't think necessarily that it's too easy to get a tech license, but I do wish that the process somehow could be changed to encourage people to learn a little bit more, as opposed to now where it's set up to where you go and you cram a bunch of information into your head long enough to go to remember it and go take a test. And then you're given a radio, you go on the air. And I'm not sure that a lot of people are learning things the way that they should. When I got my license, I was taking a class at the Braille Institute here in Los Angeles. And part of the class was getting on the air and using the radio, talking third-party traffic and all this kind of fun stuff, so that by the time I passed my test and got my license, my novice license, I was ready to get on there. I knew what to do because I had experience and I knew stuff. So I wish that I don't want to see the process made more difficult. I think the level of knowledge required is good enough, but I wish that somehow it was made in such a way that it encouraged people to learn more, not just cram information. And as far as being chairman of the SCC, what's wrong? One rule I would make. Well, there's been so many good ones already on this, but I guess I would ultimately have to go with the antenna one. I think it should be much easier for hams to put up antennas. There shouldn't be barriers to this. I wish that there could be one overriding rule that could be passed on such a level that it would supersede state ordinances, local ordinances, CCNRs, HOAs, all that stuff. So I think that the things should be easy for us to be able to put up equipment to function and be able to provide a service during an emergency. And when I'm out and about being mobile, portable, generally when I'm in a vehicle, I will say mobile. It's a habit I got into very early on, and I don't see the harm in it. I think it's good to do, especially when you're mobile, because if you happen to get into a bad area, it lets the person you're talking to on the other end already know, hey, this guy, he's mobile, and I'm hearing the picket fencing, so maybe he's about to drop out, or if he does drop out, now they know why I dropped out, and don't wonder what happened, or are left in the dark. So those are my answers. So I think that's it for our cast and crew. Did I leave anybody out of our crew? Alrighty. So, and by the way, somebody is wondering about Angelo. He's in the background, and he had indicated that he wasn't going to be able to participate in this part. So,
okay, one reason.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I missed the question on the FT8.
Oh, do you think FT8 is good for the hobby?
I think it brings a lot of young people into the FT8, into the hobby, because they are mostly interested in ham radio for the computer interface.
Yeah, okay. Good stuff. Sorry, I skipped that one when I was asking you.
No problem.
Anybody else want to give them a shot?
About Alan?
Alan?
Okay, ask me the questions.
All right. Should CW be a requirement?
No.
Is FT8 good or bad for the hobby?
FT8 good for the hobby because it's another mode. All modes are good regardless. And I think as Margaret said, it's bringing a lot of new people into the hobby. I think also there are a lot of misconceptions about FT8. I hear them all the time. It's only computer to computer. Those things are not true. Also, the mode in and of itself is also being used in another mode called JS8 Call, which is the exact same mode, and it's a keyboard to keyboard mode. So it is not necessarily just computers talking to computers. It can be used for people talking to people. It is an extremely low signal mode that can be used when other modes are unavailable. So for emergency comms, I think it's an excellent addition. But any new mode is a good thing.
I agree. Do you think it's too easy to get a tech license?
No, I don't. I think the tech license is designed like the old novice license used to be. It's an entryway, it's a gateway into the hobby. And if you make the barrier too high, the hobby will die out. So I think it's right about the right level. I think what people need to understand is the technician license now is a license to learn. And so we, like Margaret says, we bring people in. We don't want to make that barrier to entry too high. And quite honestly, there's a lot of really lazy people out there who don't even want to take any test. So that's the barrier to hopefully keeping out, people maybe that we would rather not have in there that are too lazy. So I think it's at just the right level.
If you were chairman of the FCC, what one rule would you make?
Antennas are a right.
I like it. And do you say you're mobile/portable when you're out and about?
Yes, I do. Not always portable, but always mobile. I think it gives others who may be listening good situational awareness of your situation, as somebody else I think pointed out. So I think it's a good thing, and I do it typically.
All righty. Well, thanks, Alan. Well, I guess that's about it for this one. We'll call it a wrap. I want to thank you all for coming, and I want to thank those of you who are listening at home, especially those who are watching us on YouTube. Really helps when you watch us on YouTube. Want to thank you for participating with us. Remember the website, www.blindhams.com, to learn all about the Blind Hams Bridge, all the nets, all the things that go on, as well as all the resources that we link to. A lot of good stuff there, and lots of good podcasts. So for now, I will say 7-3.
Wait a minute, before you go, maybe Joel could talk about the links we have to some of the Amazon products.
Yeah, all right, go ahead, Joel.
Oh, yeah, we hadn't mentioned that in a while. And last time I looked, we were up to $57. So we like a little bit to get to that $100 level. So as soon as that first $100 check comes, we're going to order an MD UV380 and have it prepared, ready for a new blind ham that's just licensed. So we have a page on a website called Amazon Affiliates, and anything bought on that page, and you can actually buy radios, Zygo 6100s, batteries, MD UV380, batteries for the GD77. There's generators. There's a lot of stuff on there that the hams use. So take a look at the page, and if you see anything you might need, and if you don't need it, somebody mentions they might need to be looking for something like that, send them over to the website. And
all right,
all the money is going to buy radios for new blind hams only.
All right, and I assume that's on the Blind Hams page, right?
Yes.
Good stuff. All right, well, does anybody else have anything before I officially wrap it up?
Joel, are you there?
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah. Hey, there's an open spot too in that box also.
Oh, wow. Okay, we didn't know about that.
Yeah, it's in there.
Thank you, Ray, so much for donating to the cause, and that way we're going to. You heard me announce.
I did.
You want to answer the 5 questions like Ray answered?
I'm trying to hide. Okay, I'll do it. Go.
Okay.
What's the?
All right. So should CW be a requirement?
I had to do it. Damn it. So no.
So that's a no?
Yeah, that's a no.
Okay. Is FT8 good or bad for the hobby?
It's good. Use it or lose it.
Go ahead.
Use it or lose it for the bands.
All right. Is it too easy to get a tech license these days?
I don't know. I haven't seen tech stuff in a long time.
If you were chairman of the FCC, what's one rule you'd make?
I'd make the stuff through the FCC more ADA compliant. I'm not happy with the way the website's laid out.
Yeah, I agree. It could be a little convoluted. Do you say that you're mobile or portable when you're out and about?
No.
All right. Well, thank you, Ray, for stepping up and answering, and thank you also as well for the donations that you're making to the cause here. Really appreciate it. All right. So, anybody else?
Just one more thing before we go, Julian. I just want to remind everybody, if anybody has an idea for a ham radio related Techzoom, email me, joelcase@gmail.com. My email's on the front page of blindhams.com's website. Or if you have any topics you want to discuss for a Techzoom, just let us know.
All right, that sounds good. And if that includes if you want to present on something, we welcome that as well. So, or if you don't want to present, but you just want the idea out there, we'll take that too. So anything helps, and it will help us to continue to make more of this content. Because after all, if we're not putting out good content, then nobody's listening. So we want to make sure that we put out something that's going to be helpful to people. So any idea you may have that's ham radio related, and especially from a blindness perspective, please send it to Joel. All right. Well, on that note, I will go ahead and say 7-3. Thank you all for coming, and we'll see you on the next CQ Blind Hams Tech Zoom.
Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast and visit www.blindhams.com.